Hi everyone, it's Dr. Narrow again. I want to talk to you about those first speeches that you did for me. First of all, I want to just say that you did a very good job. I really enjoyed watching the speeches and learning a little bit about the people in your family as well as people that you admire in history. A couple of things that I'd like to tell you about those speeches hopefully will make the speeches better and maybe make you a little bit more comfortable in the class as well. First of all, I want you to post your speeches to the wall. Next time on Facebook, post them to the wall. Now, I had someone leave on one of my student opinion of teaching forums a couple of semesters ago that they didn't want to post things to their wall because their family members saw them and things of that nature. Well, here's a way out of that. Make an alias Facebook page. All right, make one that just has your name on it, upload a picture so that we can see who you are, but you don't have to use this as your public Facebook page. You can join this group. It's a private group. I don't allow anybody in the group except for the people in the class. So go ahead and make a separate Facebook page if you feel more comfortable doing that. You can use your same name. That's not a big deal. Just attach it to a different email and we'll be all set. So if you have a problem with that, it shouldn't take you maybe 5 or 10 minutes to set up a private Facebook page that you just used for this class, and then you never have to use it again afterward. And that way you have your own Facebook page, and then you have one that's special for this class. All right, a couple of things. First of all, the major thing where you lost points were directions, following directions. I want you guys to make sure that you are hitting the time in your speech. If it says 2 minutes, I only give you 20 seconds on either side of those 2 minutes. So make sure that you are hitting your time in your speech so that you can continue delivery and I can continue getting to everybody else in the class as well. Or if you go too short, it probably means that you need to get some more information. Timing is very important when you're giving presentations because oftentimes entire shows or entire productions are planned around the timing of speeches and presentations. It's like when you're watching the Oscars and you hear the music go on and people have to shut up. That's why they've been given a certain limit. They've got to fit in those limits. So just think of yourself as being on the Oscars and giving a speech, and hopefully you'll hear that sound of music and it'll make you know that that's the time to stop your speech. Another thing that people are not following is making sure that you have an audience with you. This is public speaking. You have got to have an audience. That is non-negotiable. You've got to have 4 people. And also, one thing that I would suggest is to make sure that you put them in the video, because if I can't see them, I can't give you credit for them. And I need them in the video that you do the speech for. I don't want them posted afterward or a picture posted afterward saying, here's my audience. No. I want to make sure that they were there when you were talking. Also, try to put them in front of the camera. I know that you're talking to the camera and it's a little difficult, and a lot of times they're sitting behind you or something like that. Back the camera off of yourself so that you can see them. If you need to, if you need them to stand in front of the computer, that's fine too. But I want to see you talking to people so that they can help you guys with the simple things that you're doing incorrectly, and we can fix those things. Audience members are a great part of your grade in here, and they can give you suggestions that'll make your grade better and that you can continue to improve upon. Another thing that people were having an issue with as far as directions were concerned was making sure that they got their outline to me in time and had an outline at all. And another thing that I want to mention here is that you want to have good, strong references on your outlines. Even if it's an interview with a family member about the person you're introducing, you need to have some reference forms on your outline so that it's not just you talking out of your head. I need to make sure that you have good, strong references and that you're getting your information from a viable source. Also, remember that you have visual aids in this class, and I want to make sure that you are that you're aware that you can get bonus points for these visual aids. It's 2 bonus points per speech. So if you have them, go ahead and use them. It's a nice way to get some extra points if you accidentally mess things up a little bit when we get to those bigger speeches. And by mess things up, you're not going to lose a whole lot of points in here for presentational skills because you're learning. I realize that, and I don't expect you to be an effective, wonderful speaker the first time you give a speech or even the second or third time. It takes practice just like anything else. So I'm going to work with you through these things. For your Skype speech next week, make sure you just call me at the time. My username's Amber Narrow, all together, all one word, AMBERNARRO, and call me at that time. I'm going to give you your topic right there. It'll be something that you're familiar with. You don't have have to worry that you're going to have to go off and research, or you're going to have to know something before you call me. I promise you'll know when we start talking what you're going to say and how you're going to say it, and it's only 1 minute. I don't want you to freak out about this one, because this is another time where I'm going to give you an opportunity to share with me some of the things that you might need to do better, so that I can tell you what those things are, you're aware of them, and you'll make really good grades on your next speeches. Some things that I do want to tell you that I was saying over and over and over to students in the class were, watch your facial expressions. You want to have different facial expressions. You don't want to sit there the entire time with no smiles and talking just like this to the camera, which brings me to my next point. We don't want monotonous speaking, okay, or speaking in monotone. We want something that is, you've got some vocal variety. You've got some interest going on in your speech. You want to use your hands. Use your hands as gestures in your speeches, so that when you're talking, you can make points with your hands, and it also adds interest for the audience for your speech. So use those things. Another thing that I want you to watch out for is pace. Some of you guys get started talking, you're nervous, you talk really, really fast, or even really, really slow. So let's try to get our pace. We want good, succinct voices when we're talking. We want to make sure that our points are made specifically, and that we've got some variety in there so that we can interest our audience. It's not just about sharing the information that you found. Anybody can do that. You can go online, you can pull something up and very easily just read it to your audience. We can go find that information. We're looking for it to be presented to us in a way that is interesting. And that's your challenge in this class, is to make something that interests you interesting to your audience. One good way to get rid of a lot of nervousness in your speech is to simply just stand up, because all of a sudden you'll need something to do with your hands besides sit them in your lap or sit them on the chair next to you. So all of a sudden you need to do something with your hands. You start using your hands when you're talking. You start having vocal variety because you're standing up, and it's making it a little more difficult for you to relax through your speech or slump over. We don't want that either. So go ahead and stand up. Just back off the camera a little bit. Let us see those gestures. Let us see the nonverbals that are going into your speeches, so that we can have some interest in your speech as well. This is going to take practice, guys. This doesn't come naturally. You've got to be able to practice your way through this. Another thing that a couple of you guys are doing, obviously, are having those little filler words like well, things like that. We want to try to get rid of those things, as well as singing in your speeches. What I call it is singing. When you start listing things and all of a sudden you start going, on my sandwiches, I like peanut butter and jelly and jam, and I also like ham and cheese. You see, I've got that little singing thing going, especially when I'm listing things. Be really careful about singing through your speeches, because all of a sudden we stop listening to what you're saying and start realizing that you're singing through your speech, and we're paying attention to the sing-songy voice rather than the information that you're presenting. Another thing that you want to do is make sure that you're not sucking your teeth when you're going from topic to topic. I'll hear a lot of people do this in the middle of their speeches. They'll stop, they'll go into something else, and they'll go, now we're going to talk about this. So be really careful with those miscellaneous sounds, those nervous sounds that we make in our speeches. Again, as soon as you get aware of these things, they go away. So I'm just trying to help you get aware of them right now. In your outlines, you want good, strong references. If you are also doing an outline and you find yourself, you've gotten a comment from me that says you sound like you're reading, or you find yourself getting into that monotonous kind of tone again, one thing that you can do to help yourself out with that in your outline is to have a topic outline rather than a full sentence outline. And what that does for you, it forces you into really knowing your topic and really knowing the information that you're speaking about, so that you can share this information in an effective, interesting way. So again, use that outline as kind of a way to force yourself into having free verse on your speech, so that you can kind of talk and really understand your topic rather than reading it. In fact, I mean, sometimes on speeches, and it hasn't happened in this class yet, but I can see students reading almost their heads going with their speeches, trying to read word for word what they had. You don't have to memorize your speeches. That's not necessary in this class. Please use your note cards. Do what you need to do to make sure that you present something effectively. Very seldom in your life are you going to have to present something where you memorize the entire thing. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to get through this speech in a way that is easy for you, but also effectively presents the information to your audience. Don't forget to answer questions when people ask you questions on Facebook about your speech. The reason that I'm getting you guys to comment to each other is because I want you to talk to each other and for us to present this as close to a classroom experience as we can. I know it's different because we're talking online. I know it's different because you can't see a lot of the public. That also makes it kind of more difficult than a classroom setting, while also making it easier because you don't have strangers sitting directly in front of you. One thing that I do want you to keep in mind though is that we are a class and we are trying to promote conversation and communication in these classes, and for that I need you to be talking to each other. So when you're asked a question, go ahead and answer it. If you miss points on upcoming comments, it's because you're not following those directions. It might be worth giving your syllabus one more read so you're sure that you're following everything that you're supposed to follow. So I look forward to those Skype speeches next week. Give me a call right on time. Don't interrupt somebody else's speech. That doesn't make me happy. So make sure that you call me right on time when it's your time to present. I'll see you next week.